Welcome to another Mortal Online 2 video. I'm Base Bellagio. In this video, I'm going to tell you 8 tips and tricks for starting characters in Haven that you want to do and make sure you do before leaving. This video is for new players and veterans alike that might have missed these details. But first, this game is releasing in 6 days. And if you're curious about it, all I can tell you is, try it out. This game is definitely worth your time, and these tips and tricks will help you also to determine if you like this game or what's this game about. The first tip I want to aim towards new players. This is ignore your player speed when you first start off. This is not really on the list of the 8, but I want to start here because a lot of new players complain about your player speed. The first thing you have to realize is all of the races are different in this game. Ogmirs are slower than the Alvarin, and humans are middle speed. You have to know these things, and also, in the beginning of the game, you are level 0. You are a nobody and you have no ability to prove it. As you get more dexterity, you will move faster, and the Alvarin are the fastest race out there, but even Thursars can run people down in short bursts, but not at the beginning of the game and not if you're brand new and level 0. Wait till you're high level or a little bit later before you determine if the game is too slow. To finalize this tip, the game's scaling is vast. To get from city to city takes a while. The game has what feels like real-life simulated woods, and you can get lost in them. Big, vast, open vistas for you to look out on. So that's why this game feels a little slower than others also, because you are actually traversing great distances. Now for the 8 tips and tricks. Number 1 is make sure you choose your foundational stats first and foremost, because race and clades affect this. What do I mean by this? Anybody and any character can be anything. You can change your skills at any time in the game. With a little effort, you can stop being a swordsman and pick up axes or spears very easily. But your race and your starting clades are non-changeable. These are the only things you can't change. And then on a deeper scale, when you look at the Mortal Online 2 character builder website, which I will link below and we will talk about more later, you see how everything from your age to your height to your weight affect your foundational stats. A certain Alvarin of a certain age will never have the dexterity that he wants, for example. I'm being very vague about this. But an old man, for example, will have low dexterity and high intelligence. You should figure out what you're aiming for with your build. If you're going to make a battle mage tamer, think about what side of the spectrum you want to be on in terms of your stats. By adjusting your age and height and weight and your race, you can tweak your character builds out differently than others. Your character might have slightly more intelligence because you made him older and fatter. Your character might be very short to take advantage of extra stat points because characters that are shorter have less health but way more stats that you can actually put back into your health. It's a weird cycle. Definitely play around with it and this character builder and know what kind of character you want. You want to go for a super foot fighter melee with a Thursar? Tweak your character out accordingly with extra whatever you think you need. Play around with the age, weight, and height. Tip number 2 is, we're going to roll right into it, is how to use the third-party sites. This game has very little information for the new player, but there are a lot of third-party sites that you could use. I will list them down below. Here are a couple of them right now. The mortaldata.com. This is the character builder. You literally input what race you want, You can go with grandparents you want, your ancestry. For example, let me just throw a quick build in here. All Shivra. We're going to make a super old mage, you know? Super small. I don't even know if this is the best way to make a mage. No, I guess you want him a little younger for that. So around here, 61 seems to be a sweet spot for intelligence. Like this, we'll make him super fat. And then, whenever you see orange here, this means that you are over or under in your skill point usage that's outside of your weight, height, and age spectrum. So you would have to just adjust this till it's back in the green. Usually you see this over on the skills list more. Okay, action skills. My combat maneuvering right now is actually over 100 because of my dexterity bonuses. So I just have to drop that by 1. So really you're spending 99 points on combat maneuvering. You're getting 1 free point from your stats. That's how this website works. Other websites I use will be the Mortal Online Map.info. This is something I'll have it all down below. This is your Google Maps of Mortal Online. For new players, this is so valuable. With this, you can filter out animals to look for, plants to look for, mining spots. My very first solo mission by myself, I looked on this map for calyx, which is used to get coal from miners. I just saw a random spot down here and I beelined. It was an awesome adventure, and you will make similar ones when you use this map. Also on the map, it has PvP spots. Players can input PvP battles, big battles that are going on. I don't see any that are going on right now, but if you wanted to submit one, you would look on here for tools. That's not the right place, but with tools, you could find the nearest priest. The bookfinder is the most important tool that I use a lot. Like if you could like type in what a book you're looking for, what skill. But you know, if you want Ganoid scale lore books, where can we find them? Search. You can find them in every major city, it looks like. On the right here, you can see all the old battles that took place before the wipe. And it would actually show a red dot on the map. This is useful because you can avoid areas with heavy battle. People also place markers to challenge other guilds. So if you see there's a big battle that's going to occur here, you might want to avoid the area. MortalData.com has a workbench besides your player, your character builder on the left. Here you can make weapons, bows, shields. You use this to test out material before wasting it on something. So look, two-handed swords, I want to make a curite hilt. We just learned that. I have a couple rare materials. I don't want to waste it. Will a jadeite core with leptoid scale grip and silver material be good? You know, something crazy. And then it tells you exactly what the damage will be, the strength requirements, how much ore you're going to need. You need 195 silver for this. Same with bows, with shields, with armor. I don't know what the pets for the pet equipment. Also, there is a links and guides in here. Some of them are outdated, but some you could still use. I'll have this down below. And then finally, on the map also is your extraction emulator. What this is you could like reverse search, you know, how to get something, you know. I want to get, here's a good example. Where's Cuprum? I want to get Cuprum, and these are all the ways to get Cuprum. Okay, some of these are super advanced. If you're looking and you know, it just gives you a source of something on the far other side of the map, you're probably in an advanced recipe. But look, you need 1,000 malachite with bore in a furnace. Okay, this is also furnace too. Down here, because I know from personal experience. A fabricula you could use. And that's how you figure that out. Obviously, blast furnace is the best. And if it's not on the list, you have to do a little bit more searching. And at that point, you would just do a quick Google search. Steel recipe, Mortal Online 2. I will not give you the secrets of steel on this episode. Definitely learn the third-party apps. They will help you be better at the game. The next tip, number 3, is not all books are equal, or skills. When you start unlocking skills with the books in Haven, you might think that you need to read every book every time. You might be under the impression that reading book is the first book you should read. And if you are a solo player by yourself and have no rush to get out of Haven, and you are not trying to min-max anything, then definitely read the reading book first. But in my opinion, as a streamer, as someone that can't sit there too long, I'm reading other books to get my reading up in turn. And I'm learning now that some skills don't require you to read everything. For example, mental training. You just read that to unlock it, and then if you were to read another book in the series that doesn't require too many points in mental training, sometimes you need a bare minimum of 50 points, 70 points just to read some of the next books in line. If you read mental offense after mental training, you just unlock mental training, get it just high enough to read mental offense, then the mental offense book will actually raise your mental training. So you're getting 2 for the price of 1, basically. To find out what books these are, 9 out of 10 times, it is usually the skills that are underneath the tree. Like I said, mental offense is inside the mental training one. This does not work with every skill, and unfortunately I don't have a list to give you skills that it works with, but play around with it. If you are able to read the next book down the skill path tree without any minimum requirements, I would try it out. I would right click on the book in your character sheet, your paper doll, to unequip it, and it destroys it, so you do waste that silver or gold. And try one underneath it to see if it raises both. You might be surprised, it might save you time, or it might waste your gold. It's a gamble. Sometimes that's fun. Tip number 4. Haven Instance and Code. Now you're able to go up to the statue in the middle of town in Haven, and you're able to enter a code for your own instance to meet up with your friends to make it easier. Or you could use this to get to your own private server, essentially, until the game catalogs you and puts new people into your server. I have used this to solo farm the graveyard with just like 2 other people around me, barely anyone in the entire city of Haven. Very peaceful, very single player. Definitely not something that you should do as a brand new player, unless you're getting completely kicked out of the graveyard, too many people to level up. Remember, you want to get a couple clades at least before leaving Haven. Use this instance code and the statue now to meet up with your friends and make Haven a little bit more fun. Or private. Tip number 5. Location of your spawning city that you're going to choose and the mats that are available in Haven, the materials. For example, me personally, I'm moving to Meduli. In Meduli, we just have access to Whitewood and Sabura for the rock and ore. But other than that, not really much that Haven has to offer. What I'm bringing from Haven now is a full stack of cotton, a full stack of dapplewood, possibly a full stack of greywood, possibly a full stack of spelt or spelt flower. If you explore Haven enough, you'll find the spelt fields. These are ingredients that are very hard to come by in Meduli. They might sell good on the broker. I might sell some of it to get a little starting funds. Really, I'm going to be using all these things. I'll be using cotton to make armor and to make grips of weapons, maybe. I'll be using the dapplewood for bows and the greywood for shields. Definitely think about this before leaving Haven. What about some of the foods and vegetables that Haven has to offer? Compared to Meduli, where all we eat is sea kelp and saltwater, Haven, which is modeled after Fabrinum, seems like they have a lot of vegetables and food. You want to take all the cabbage, the cavolo, all the carrots, whatever that name is, I forgot. You want to take the roses, which you really don't have too much access to unless you go to Tindrum. The cabbage being the rarest of the rare. I've only found that once on my adventures. Carrots I found out in the wild. Again, I haven't looked everywhere, under every rock or under every tree. But cabbage seems to be very rare for Meduli. You could use it to make some good food for you and your friends to keep you guys healthy and fit and your reserves of health, mana, and stamina high. Tip number 6, don't take anything too serious. This is hugely important. In this type of MMORPG, you don't lose any of your main core stats and skills. And everything else you do lose is acceptable to lose because it's easy to make armor, it's easy to get weapons, it's easy. All this stuff will come easy to replace lost things. And you always fall back on your communication skill and your speechcraft skill. What I mean by that is use your microphone, make some friends in game. People will help you in this game. Don't be too serious about getting killed, getting ganked or PK'd, player killed. This will happen in the game. You might do it to other people. Everything's replaceable. The main thing that you want to be learning for your character is the skills and stats and clades, and yourself, the knowledge of the game, of locations, places you want to visit, things you want to do, and places you've already been. Number 7 is there are tutors in Haven. Many veteran players just skip these tutors. And then the real veterans, though, are talking to every single tutor, clicking on every single clickable box you can click on inside the tutor's speech boxes, and learning all the skills they give you. They give you free skills. For example, the combat tutor in the middle of town will unlock weapon skills for you. Even if you don't want to use daggers, they will unlock daggers for you and give you some free skill points. Same with axes, same with spears. You could just drop it all down to 0 after. Just keep it in your repertoire so you don't have to buy the book later on, waste your time. This takes you a second just to find the tutors. The tutors off the top of my head. You have the combat tutor in town, the anatomy tutor, the cooking tutor, the magic tutor. You have the crafting tutor that teaches you armor, weapons, bows, possibly something else about shields for sure. I think the shields might even be part of the tutorial. You have the taming tutor right outside of town to the west. That's where you get taming and domestication. And there might even be a couple more tutors. Please comment down below if you know of any that I missed. If there's an alchemy tutor, I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. Finally, your best friend in terms of quick skill gain and stat gain, in terms of your intelligence, constitution, strength, many different stats, is woodcutting and mining. Even if you're not planning on doing these in the real world, outside of Haven, you still want to do it here and in the beginning of the game. Use these to level up your skills and your stats. I've seen some very random skills grow when using this and doing some AFK stone cutting or lumberjacking. It gets up combat maneuvering, a bunch of different things. I can't even begin to think. It's just constant skill gain. You'll see what I mean. Even if you're not going to use those skills, I have a theory that the skill gain helps with the stat gain somehow, some way. So try this out. If you can't get your intelligence up as a mage, go lumberjacking off. If you can't get your constitution up, try stone cutting it up, and you will be better off, trust me. And that wraps up all the tips and tricks I can think of for Haven, for new players and old players alike. Again, enjoy the game, meet people, have fun. That is the best part about this game. Play around with some of these tips and tricks to get better yourself, to plan your course of action and your character builds, and to find me in the game so I could pat you on the back and say, good job. Thank you for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you didn't. Hit that subscribe button, join the gang, and come hang out on the channel. Comment down below. I try to answer everybody's comments. And find me on Twitch if I'm live and ask me a bunch of questions. I love it. Have a great rest of your day.